Hello, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
My name is David Hutchins.
Um, well, I'm going to start off asking a couple questions, and I would appreciate if you can respond to questions with your specific opinion, as you wish. Okay. The first question is, what is a topic or subject where you pretend to be knowledgeable?
Well, a topic or a subject that I pretended to be knowledgeable in was actually computers. And I actually did that because I had a job interview with Harris County Sheriff's Office where it was an IT job where you actually get to program the electronics and computers inside the cop cars that communicate with the main infrastructure and send all the data to the clouds. That way the lawyers can use them as video evidence to compile the case. And to learn all that, it takes a bunch of technical skills, especially since I'm gonna have to be repairing them. And similarly, when it comes to their laptops, they call it the tough books, being used all day, 24/7, 3 shifts. Those things, they get worn. So I had to pretend to pretty much know or be knowledgeable in the subject of computers and IT, essentially. Yeah.
Okay. So why was it that you felt that you had the need to pretend to know these things?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I felt like I had to pretend because whenever I went in for the interview, I wanted to leave a first good impression. So I felt that if I knew or if I was able to say things that actually made sense and was able to answer their questions, that I would be a good pick for the job, and they would actually consider my application and wanting to move forward with me instead of passing it off to another person. And pretty much in doing that, it would guarantee to them that I have some knowledge, and it would secure to me that whenever if I were to get hired, I'm not going in there completely blind, that I know somewhat what I'm doing. That way I can just ask general questions to give me the rest of the way. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
After the interaction, did you take steps to educate yourself on the subject, or did you continue to pretend?
Yes, I actually did take myself. So I did take some actions to actually inform myself better about computers and stuff, and that consisted of me actually going to the company's website and watching their diagnostic videos and seminars about how the system works, discovering all the features, and essentially they even got into some diagnostics for whenever it's acting up so that I could properly diagnose some things. And when it comes to computers, that's when I really turned to YouTube and started watching a lot of tech channels to understand the components, to know the difference between RAM, hard drives, SSD, the different types of storage and data. And I even was able to gain access to a class that actually would very briefly touch on light coding. That way I knew what BIOS and other functions on the Windows were. So yeah, that's the steps that I took actually to try to inform myself.
Thank you. And what was stopping you from learning about these topics or subjects before, in the first place?
Honestly, there was actually nothing stopping me. It's just most of my life, I grew up interested in cars and engines, and that interest is actually what landed me my current job, because I was able to teach myself about the basic mechanics of cars before I would come to where I'm working now and actually get to build on those skills and learn more. So essentially, it was just an interest that was just lacking that prevented me from learning. But once I got the interest, because of the job, I was able to actually, start looking into it, start learning about it, finding a need, to actually research this stuff. So yeah, it was more of an interest problem, essentially.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to go to the second question, which is, what is a social issue that you feel most people pretend to understand, or at least behave as if they understand it better than they do?
Okay. So I feel like this is an issue that's actually not talked about very much in current society because a lot of people tend to focus on bigger issues like, or not bigger issues, more mainstream issues like, let's say, immigration or like Democrat versus Republican, Trump, Biden, whatever. But there's an issue that I feel like actually plagues society more, and that's the problem with, single parent households being normalized. And I feel like this is a problem that needs to be talked about because, it messes up future generations, and these kids, they're being raised in a way that they don't have structure at their house. So when they don't have structure in the home, then in society they're gonna lash out against it, and that's what causes the our social changes. And that's why we got so many youth actually glorifying this single family household, and nobody sees it as a problem because back then, if you accidentally knock somebody up, you would immediately get married. But nowadays, if you accidentally knock them up, either the guy leaves or you just pay child support. And divorces have just been more normalized, and it just really messes up the kids. And what that does is it could actually cause them to lose determination. Determination in school. They don't have the drive to learn, which is why in a lot of lower income areas, you see where there are a lot more single parent households. There's like lower education rates. A lot of more kids are dropping out of high school. They don't want to learn. They don't get degrees. So I feel like that's a problem that's plaguing America right now. It isn't really talked about,
Yes. Since you already talked about why you think they pretend, I think you did talk about it a little bit. You got into it, but why do you think that they pretend to be knowledgeable about the topic?
Sure, I can touch on that a little. I feel like the main reason that they would do that, or whether they pretend to be knowledgeable, is because they're thinking of it in an entirely selfish way. They're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to do this because it's in my best interest. They're not thinking about the consequences it has on the people around them, the ones that they love, even, because they're just thinking so selfishly. When in reality, they need to take a step back and think about, what effect it would have on their children and how they're viewed in society and how it's really going to change their life. And, there's this societal change nowadays that says you have to place yourself first, and it's gotten so bad that now people are starting to place themselves in front of their children, even though their children depend on them to survive. So I feel like the whole reason that they're pretending to be knowledgeable, or they act like they're knowledgeable, is because they're looking at it through a self-interest point of view rather than the bigger picture and how it affects everybody.
Very interesting. What do you think we can do to help people acknowledge and embrace their ignorance?
Well, I don't think they should embrace ignorance because the ignorance would actually make things worse. I think that we need to actually glorify the benefits of a dual parent household, that the structure that comes from it, and how it provides better opportunities for the kids because they're able to be raised properly and have that encouragement to do good in school and to go to college and get high-paying jobs, rather than having to do it on their own. So if they don't have the drive, there's nobody there to help them. So I feel like we should glorify more of the benefits, because at the end of the day, the benefits of a dual-parent household significantly outweigh the benefits of a single-parent household by vast margins. So I think that's the only way we can fix this problem, because it's going to take a shift in society, which won't happen. Maybe over the course of 10 years it can get better, but it won't be completely fixed. But there needs to be a societal change, and to do that, I think we need to glorify the benefits of a dual-parent household.
Thank you so much for your time. And lastly, just to see, I would really appreciate it if you can please mention what your positionality is. This means details about yourself. So are you straight, or are you part of the LGBTQ? Are you a male, race, gender, anything?
Okay, so I'm actually mixed between white and Caribbean. I'm Caribbean on my mother's side and white on my father's side. I am a male and I am straight. I do not consider myself to be part of the LGBTQ community. And I'm middle class. I make a decent wage. I'm a government worker, so I work for Harris County. So that's what fun facts about it. And I'm 19, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that should cover all bases on that one.
Yes, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. You have a good day.
Thank you, you too.